Welcome back to the Gulthias Tree. This is session number 3, entitled The Bloated One. Last session, the group has continued exploring the Sun of the Citadel. They have conversed with the kobolds who are living inside of the southern portion of the top of the fortification and have endeared Meepo, a former dragon shield, to their group. They spoke with the chieftain of the kobolds, and she basically gave them some information regarding the goblinkin, their lost dragon, and the possible whereabouts of the missing adventurers, specifically the two sons of Lady Hukriel. They have opted to move into what is known as the Rattling of the castle, and they have explored it just briefly. They found a strange cold door and a strange dragon fountain, and they mastered both with relative ease. Currently, Hero is still under the effects of the potion of fire breath, still has 50 minutes and 2 charges remaining of that potion. And then, with the assistance of Alenia, the group was able to open the cold door. They saw 3 items that were worth more than the risk of whatever was in the coffins. They took up the items and fought back some skeletal elvish warriors, similar to the bow archers and the tower hall, the very first chamber that they entered upon descending. Defeated them and recovered the 3 items: a ever-burning candle, similar to an ever-burning torch. Hero, you very quickly identify that the rings on the handle for the ever-burning candle could probably slip onto one of the horns on the top of your head and kind of settle on the top of your head, freeing up your hand. And since it's ever-burning, it won't burn you if it were to fall off or be knocked aside. Just a thought if you wanted to do that. Others, you could possibly tie it to your belt or what have you and have that light permanently on you as well. There was a strange flute called Nightcaller, which was identified by Aveline, who is, at least to Alenia's regard, some strange sort of spellcaster, though she may not know it herself. And the last item was a potion, yet another potion, this one being identified as a potion of fire resistance. That said, they were left off in the same room, the broken bones still laying on the ground. And yeah, what would you like to do?
So we just killed these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go farther forward.
Yeah, I'm ready to move forward.
Giving up my torch.
Okay.
I can no longer light the way.
Well, if you want, you can take the candle. If Hero doesn't want it, just depends on who wants to take it up. Do you want it?
I'll take it.
Are you?
I'm good with you taking it.
Okay.
You want to hang it on your horn?
Do you want to keep your regular torch burning? It still has another 30 or so minutes left to it. Or no, Hero?
I think I'm gonna keep it burning.
Okay. Cool. Alright, so up ahead there was some sightings of strange movement by one of you. And that would be to the northern end. Nodder, as you kind of come up to this section, you'll see that to your right, it looks like there might have been some sort of hallway that might have led out onto like, from what you can tell, probably an exterior place, but it's currently just rubble. A bunch of parts of what appears to be the castle above you, and also parts of the mountain and rock of the crevasse have kind of blocked off this passage. To your left there's a door, and up ahead there appear to be 2 doors that are slightly ajar. The doors that you can see ahead of you, they look like they are completely made out of iron, and at about eye level for a man, human, there would be small eye slots with little bars in them.
Oh,
Have you ever been on the wrong side of the law in character?
my character?
I think.
Otter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. They're definitely prison
They're
doors.
prison. Otter's definitely stolen before.
Fair enough. But yeah, it looks like up to the north ahead of you is some sort of prison.
And what's in the
I-
what's this west door?
There's goblin markings on it, specifically reading, because you can read goblin. Keep out, stay away, no kobolds allowed. And then there's a little doodle of a kobold, kind of like this, with a arrow, and a goblin kind of with a bow, like drawn off to the side, with a smile on his face.
Well, I'm no kobold.
Like Meepo.
Yes, just like Meepo.
It's just Meepo. Well, I mean, I let everybody know, like, before we get to the Rattling of this castle, it looks like it's a prison up ahead. Then I'll check over with Sin.
Okay. Move on.
You're curious about this door, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also curious about that door.
Is-
Seeing what's inside of it.
Is there a lock?
Nope. It's kind of a rough wooden door with iron kind of framework, but it doesn't appear to be damaged in any way other than the graffiti that's been kind of sprayed all over it. If you move to open it, it doesn't seem to be trapped or anything. No rolls are necessary. It opens into an empty 20 by 20 room. On the northern side of that room, you can see with your light another door. This door, very similar on the exterior, and then the walls around it also covered with graffiti. More warnings to keep out. On this one, it shows a bit more of a dynamic drawing of a bunch of goblins angrily kind of shooting arrows down at one kobold who's just covered with arrows with X's for eyes, and the goblins are all like evil grins. Like, if you know when the Bowser like airship in Super Mario like gets mad, like that.
Yeah.
Like they all the goblins look like that.
Would turn to the rest of the group and say, looks like maybe this was used for executions.
Could be. Maybe they just hate him.
I can't move my token.
I think you're stuck in a wall. Hold on.
Yeah.
I moved you to the group, and I will shift click you to them as well. All right. Moving over to this door, you do see that this door does look like it has lock mechanism on it, but kind of giving a quick scan, you can actually see in the keyhole it doesn't appear to be locked. And with what little light you have kind of peeking through the keyhole, you can see that it's probably a hallway. And then you hear some voices on the other side. Huh? You can almost see the goblins with question marks over their heads on the opposite side of the door.
Should we
I
just go
attempt-
in? Or should we... Oh, go ahead.
And say, can I attempt to put my ear to the door to
Yeah.
hear better?
You would hear whispering in Goblin. You don't speak it, but it sounds like they're... I was only taking them out the town. The town.
Can I roll to immediately learn Goblin?
No.
Can I translate?
Is that an intelligence of 100 roll?
What you can do is you can attempt to make an intelligence check to see if you can relay a couple of the phrases that were said to someone who speaks Goblin. And Sen
Does
does.
anyone-
Sen does.
Oh, Sen does? Oh, okay. Actually, I'll go ahead and try for that.
Okay.
Might as well. So let me get my sheet up.
Intelligence is on the left side, just one of your ability scores.
Yeah, which this is not going to be. Good.
I figured not. Basically, Sen,
N.
you're pretty sure that he didn't catch the phrasing right because he said, unsatisfied with the cooking of the duck meat.
Mm. I mean, that might be true too.
You think duck might mean fuck or cluck, but you're not sure. It could be any of those. But regardless, duck sounds the most likely based on what the words he said.
Okay.
Are they squabbling about dinner?
Yeah. Sounds like they need a new cook.
Here's like, I got this. Puts on an apron and a hat. Hey guys, I'm here to cook your dragon.
It's not me.
Got the, I've
Looking
got,
at the ground sadly.
feel. Anyway. Aveline, out of the corner of your eye, kind of taking up the back area, you do see what looks like the head of a rat kind of peer around the corner on the wall behind you, and then kind of once it sees you seeing it, snaps back around the corner. The rats are watching you.
Well, do you guys think we should just go inside this door?
What'd you hear?
Could knock. Say. I could knock and say who's in there in Goblin.
Hmm?
Option. Are we in agreement? Is that
I
a good
would-
idea?
I would only worry that they might be able to launch an
Or do we-
attack against us in secret if we give away our position.
Then do we want to just burst in?
I'm not paying attention. I am gonna kind of go this way.
Okay.
I saw something.
The second you start to cut out that way, you hear the rat kind of move away from the wall and then book it like full speed back into the prison area. If you want, you can chase after it to see if you can see where it's going, or you can just hold back.
I don't really want to chase it all the way, but I'd like, is it possible to kind of see how much I can see in that little hallway there?
Okay. It looks like it goes into one of the prison cells when you kind of come around the corner there. It looks like it goes into just out of the darkness because you don't really have much sight. You do see that it goes into probably the middle chamber on the right. Let's see. I'm gonna try.
So if we open the door, we could potentially have Aveline ready to... Wait a second. Where's Aveline?
She snuck off.
Just gonna like run back in. I'm here.
You okay?
I might know where the rats are coming from.
Well, that's good news. So door or rats? Goblins or rats?
Well, Nodder, what do you think?
I say, let's ask the goblins how they're doing. Yeah, tell them we got some duck, and if they don't like it, or if we hear a commotion of them like trying to get ready to do something, we bust in, weapons out, knock some heads off.
Meepo looks over to Hero and says, "We kill goblins." Yeah.
Well, apparently they're down to kill you, so probably.
Yeah, likely this will only end up one way.
Should Meebo hang back?
No.
You
Clink,
want to
clink.
die?
He hammers his weapon against his shield. It's a little loud.
Well, if this is the way that we're going to do this, then let me get in position in case things go wrong.
Yeah, I'm taking out my axe.
and I'm getting into a line position to potentially do a breath weapon.
Okay.
Using me as a wall.
Well, I mean, you moved there after I said what I was going to do, so...
Little peek over the shoulder.
Seems like you wanted to be a wall, so...
Make a little hole with my arm for you to blow your fire through.
So-
For ultimate defense.
This might be important. The door opens inwards towards you, and it
Oh.
opens in a fashion that Nodder, you're either going to be opening it and be right in the doorway, or you're going to be opening it and be behind the door.
Oh. Okay. Then I guess I have to back up one.
And then Sen, you'll be opening the door from the opposite side and pushing it open.
Yeah.
And then Hero and Nodder, you can't share the same space.
Yeah, I'll move over to that side.
Okay.
Are we talking?
Oh, I didn't know I could move yours. Oops.
Are we talking to them though, or are we just busting in? I thought we were going to talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, we can try. It depends on what their mood's like. Are the stars in alignment for us?
Do you want to listen to it yourself? So if they do say something in Goblin, you can.
Yeah.
How
I'll
long?
listen.
How long do you listen to the wall for a while? Because it sounds pretty quiet on initial listening, but
Probably for 10 seconds.
okay. You don't really hear anything on the other side if that's all you listen.
Oh,
Door?
30 seconds?
You hear a no, which you know to say, where are they? And then you hear shh.
Okay, so they're wondering where something is.
It sounds
Or they're wondering where their ducks are?
to you. It sounds like they're waiting in ambush. And as you think back to what Hero tried to say, it says, "Someone's coming. I can see a light," which is very close to, "I'm very unsatisfied with the cooking of the duck meat."
Ah.
Or
Those sound nothing alike in
Yeah.
English.
Goblin is a strange language.
It is indeed. The goblins are strange creatures.
Indeed.
So, they know we're there. So, sounds like let's be prepared for a fight.
hell yeah.
Alright. So, open the door.
All right. When you throw open the door, the very first thing that's going to happen is going to be 2 shots from bows taken as reaction. But since no one's really standing right in the doorway and attempting to move in, these shots will be made with you having cover. And since you know that a possibility of attack is coming, they will not be made with the normal advantage of surprise. What you will see, though, upon opening the door and your light spilling onto the floor, is that the floor is covered with gleaming, sharp barbs that appear to be standing on 3 sharp barbs. To the militant-minded and also to Sen, these are caltrops. Typically things used to stop cavalry advances, but in the current placement will stop a straight rush. On the opposite side, it appears that there's a makeshift wall, about 4 feet tall, made out of brick mortar. It looks like you can see what appears to be the hand and arm of a kobold kind of sticking out of the bricks. And the 2 goblins that are launching arrows appear to be shooting from over this makeshift fortification. The fortification probably won't stand too much of a problem for a dragonborn or anyone who's of humanoid medium height. But for a kobold, you're pretty sure that this would be a great defense. Anyway, to those shots. It looks like the 2 in the back line. Actually, Sen would probably be target 1 because the door opened that way. And then I would say the bear would probably be target 2. 12 probably misses Sen. Yep, and the bear, it's a 15, but your armor class is increased by 2 because of cover. So you have a 15 normal, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So 1 arrow comes flying in and kind of shoots over Sen. Hero kind of moves to the side as the arrow smashes against the back wall. The next arrow comes in and hits the door frame and kind of just breaks in half and kind of doesn't make it all the way to the bear. With that, these 2 goblins on the opposite side look like they are hostile and ready to scrap.
What do you mean? They look friendly.
Let's
They
see.
just want to play.
Mm, friendly goblins.
Playing keep away. They're too far away from my axe.
Red Rover. Send a
So-
goblin right over.
Fade out
Oh.
and play.
Oh, I gotta hit my token?
All right. Yeah, you have to select your token and then hit the initiative roll.
Oh.
Oops. I
Quick
always
question.
forget that.
Quick
Yeah,
question, John.
Shoot.
Since I had readied myself with my breath weapon, do I get a
Yes.
reaction?
Since you specifically stated you were going to do something, yes. Do you have them in range? I think it's a 5-foot wide line, so it'll be one or the other. You don't have to take it though, if you don't want to.
Okay. I am gonna take it. I'm gonna take the fire
Oh, right.
that I got, but I don't see it on
Let's see.
our list. Or do I just do a straight?
Potion of
Right.
Dragon.
Oh, I see it. Yep. Potion of fire breath.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was
Right.
Dragon Breath too.
How do I do initiative for my token?
No, what's that?
How do I do initiative for my token?
Select your token and then open your character sheet and then click on initiative in your character sheet with your token selected.
Okay. Oh, okay.
If you rolled multiples, I'm a nice guy. I'll just let you have the higher of them. It's fine.
I mean, I'll take the 7. That's what I
And
actually rolled. I was just trying to figure out how to do it right.
So should I take my reaction now?
yeah, so it's going to be a dexterity saving throw, right?
Yeah, dexterity saving throw.
And it targets one creature, or
I believe so. It doesn't state that it does one or more, but I'm assuming that means it's just one.
okay, let me double check.
It says at a target within 30 feet, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming one.
Singular, yep.
Okay. So 4d6 if it.
And is it half on a failure?
Half as much.
Go ahead and roll the
Yeah.
damage, because I think 46 will kill a goblin outright, even if it fails. Yeah,
Yeah, 15.
it doesn't matter. It would not be able to live past that. So, as you prepare, Sen flies the door open, arrows fly in, and then a mote of fire goes flying over the wall, slamming into the face of one of the goblins and kind of just throwing its body back and away. All right.
Sweet.
The goblin
Great.
who sees this is horrified and jumps down behind the wall and sounds like he is scurrying. Sen, you recognize the sound from the opposite side of the wall to be pretty familiar. It sounds like he's trying to open a door with a key. And
Laura.
having some trouble of it as he probably drops it. It's like the horror movies, you know, when like somebody's being attacked when they're trying to get into their car, they drop their keys under the car.
Be on the move. Okay. Let's see.
Sorry,
Um,
it would be
I'm just-
you're up. So the
yeah. I'm trying to
caltrops.
figure. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to move them.
As an action, you can scoop up 5 feet worth of caltrops, but that would be your action. And if you are moving into a square with caltrops, you have to make a dexterity 15 saving throw, or stop moving in a space with them. So move in and then move in next turn, and then move in next turn. Or you will suffer the effects of the caltrops.
Okay.
Also, if you move at half your normal speed, you do not have to make a saving throw.
Okay.
as you tiptoe through.
Right. I guess I think I want to start cleaning the caltrops.
Okay.
Oh, do I
Or-
get anything because I'm good at cleaning? Can I like get these?
When it's your turn, I suppose. But
They're fighting over who's going to clean more. I have no comment. I'm
It's been a rough 100 years or so.
fair. Yeah, they
if
obviously
it
dirtied the place up.
sparks joy,
Fair. But yeah, if you want to clean up the caltrops, that's fine. You do know that the goblin on the other side, it does sound like he is trying to escape deeper into the castle.
right? Yeah, I'll go ahead and start cleaning those, or do I clean up all of them?
You'd clean up 5 feet.
5 feet.
Yeah, it's going to take you
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That many turns. Yeah, 8. 8 turns.
Okay. So I'll just clean up like the first bit.
On the right side. Okay.
Yeah.
Aveline?
I'll also try and scoop some up.
Okay. Do you want to get the ones next to them on the left side or the next one in the path forward?
So is it pretty much like every square?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
okay. And then which ones did Sun get?
I assume the ones on the, here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the ones like above them.
Okay. So you'll be here then, in space-wise. So you move on to the clean square, and then clean up the next square. Meepo. Moves in, and then once he gets to the space past you, he kind of just gingerly kind of steps into the caltrops slowly, taking half speed at that point. And then he kind of looks towards the wall and kind of raises his shield up. It looks like he's taking the dodge action to be defensive. And
Good move.
I did not roll a Lenya, but she'll go on 1 for this. She'll go on 1 for this one. All right. Here.
I'm going to use my speed 30.
Yeah. If you take the dash action, you could double your speed for the turn. If you're trying to get in close.
How big is each square again?
5 feet.
Oh, it's 5 feet by 5 feet. Okay, that's what I thought. And then each caltrop space is half your speed, right?
Yes. And the 2 spaces that are clear are the one with Adeline and the one in front of her. It'd be 25 to get to Meepo, and then if you dash, you'd be able to get over the wall. Yeah, it's only 4 feet, so it's just difficult terrain to get over it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna dash in
Okay.
order to get next to where that goblin is.
All right. If you pop over to this space here, you should be right on top of him or to the side of him. Dashing is your action, though, so if he tries to move away from you, you'll provoke an opportunity attack. But
We're gonna actually go right here as opposed to
are you going to
right
shoot?
next to him.
Are you going to... You still have a bonus action if you want to breath him.
No.
Okay. And again, all right, cool. Nodder.
I don't like these caltrops.
Yeah.
I get out my axe and I try and sweep away at them, but like that'll be like my gathering. I'll like try and gather them up on my battle.
Are you gathering the ones under Meepo or the ones diagonal north of Meepo?
Oh, I guess yeah. I gotta pick up Meepo, and then I gotta sweep up the ones under, and I put them
Pick
back
him up by the
down.
collar.
You kind of like grab him by his butt and kind of lift him up and just start brushing with the axe.
Couldn't clean up some of these for us.
Meepo's still in defensive posture. Aye.
How'd you get there, hero?
And then he looks back at you and he says, "Furry one, throw me!"
That was an idea that I had, but
I got.
I was a little more
Do I
dignified.
have that ability?
Well, if you don't want to sweep up the caltrops, you could throw Meepo. I'll allow that.
All right.
All right, make a strength athletics check.
Sure. Athletics.
Meepo flies over the wall, hits the ground next to Hero, and kind of lands with a little bit of a drop to the knee. Kind of looks over to his left at the goblin, who's still fumbling with the keys, but it looks like he's got the door unlocked. All right. The goblin will go. He opens the door and bolts. And then Meepo will attack him as he leaves the threatened space. Meepo is attacking with his dagger. He hits. You see him kind of drop low and kind of bring his dagger out and cut the kneecap of the goblin. The goblin still rushes past him. It doesn't look like it was a mortal wound. And then you hear from the opposite side of the door the goblin yelling something in Goblin. Everyone can hear it down in your hallway. Sen, it says, "Intruders! Ready the bows! Ready the bows!"
Oh shit, they're onto us.
They're hollering.
Sen.
They've got bows and arrows, I yell. Just so you know.
It's your up. Yep.
And then let's see. Walking across those last two spaces would be half speed, right?
Yeah, you'd be able to move up to the wall with just your normal speed. And if you wanted to, you could bonus action dash and then go up over the wall, which would be 2 more spaces. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. You could move 4 spaces down from the door.
Okay. I'll use dash.
And you'd still have your action because rogues are cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, you'd go here first, and then you'd end up here as far as you, if you wanted to go as far as you could.
Okay. Yeah. Can't I move there?
Oh, here, this space would be the last.
This one.
Mm-hmm. As you come around the corner, you would see one goblin. It looks like beside him there are a number of hay and wood dummies that are basically filled with pretty large size bolts and arrows and spears.
That was an accident.
No worries. He is in distance for you to short bow him, or if you have a dagger, you could toss it at him. You still have your action.
Okay. I would like to toss my dagger.
Okay. All right. That's going to miss. As he kind of is rushing forward, you see him kind of turn around anxiously. As you kind of slink out of the shadows, he kind of goes, "Ah!" and raises his shield, and the dagger stabs into it. All right.
I'm gonna need that back.
Oh, I totally said I was going to do a thing, and I didn't do the thing. Alenia will move up to the wall. She was going on 1. Sorry. Aveline.
Since I can't occupy the same space as Noder, so I can't clean the caltrops.
Well, you could clean from Nodder's space, then move into the space you cleaned.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta pick me up.
Also, a quick.
I mean,
A quick note: you now have 2 sets of caltrops, so notate that. and then Sen, you have one set of caltrops. As an action, you can place a set of caltrops as a trap. It fills a 5-foot space, and it does the exact same thing that these caltrops are currently doing for you. And they weigh about 2 pounds.
Okay.
It's literally just like a handful of D4s, really. Just made out of iron and death.
Oh yeah.
All right, Meepo.
You can get metal D4s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
We have some.
Let's see. Meepo is going to rush after Sen and come around the wall there.
So excited to kill some goblins.
He does seem to have kind of like a look on his face. He rushes in and attacks with his dagger and hits, and you literally watch him kind of jump over the shield, and as the goblin's kind of going, "Is it okay?" Kobold dagger in his face, and then like just they kind of fall to the ground a bit, and Meepo shakes the dead goblin off his dagger. All right. Hero.
So to put away my torch and take out my second longsword
You
to
could-
equip dual longswords, that's an action, right?
You could drop your torch if you wanted to as a free action, and then pull your second sword, which would be
Okay.
a part of another action. So no action would be taken.
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll do that. So
Okay.
that I'm now dual wielding longswords. One of them is the vicious longsword.
All right.
I will also rush in to the door behind Meepo.
Okay. And hold on a second here.
That's as far as I can go.
Hope that worked. Yep. The torch is on the ground there. Cool. All right. You see that Meepo kind of like is pulling his dagger out of the goblin and kind of like moving against that wall, like he's hugging it pretty closely. All right. Nodder.
Alright, from here. No, yeah, I can make it. My movement speed would let me get to the other side of the wall.
Okay.
I-
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, it'll take you 25 to get to just the other side of the wall. And Alenia and Aveline, as the bear starts kind of climbing up onto the wall, now being the third person to actually climb it, it actually starts breaking under his weight and kind of falling apart. So there's more mess on the ground there in front of you.
Increased look of stress on my face.
You also now can see that on the other side, it looks like the goblins were sleeping, and yeah, pretty messy lot on the opposite side there. Alenia moves around through the broken wall and gingerly kind of steps over the caltrops to get to a position behind Sen. And as she does so, she kind of pulls out her holy symbol and is holding the cross haft of it, and it looks like she's ready to engage, but is trying to be stealthy. Sen, you hear the goblins on the other side. It's just a dumb kobold. Ready your bows, Ben. And it sounds like they are readying to shoot arrows, much like the other goblins were when the door was closed.
They are ready to shoot.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like
they only think that there's kobolds. So we may have a slight advantage.
roll a perception check for me too, real quick.
Me?
Yeah.
Is that your dog in the back?
Who, me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear her little toes going clack, clack, clack.
Yeah, she's in
It's
here for some
adorable.
reason. I don't know what she wants from me.
Oops. I rolled twice. Sorry.
I think Lara's folding laundry, so like the whole bed situation is disrupted. And Holly's like, I don't know about
Father,
this.
the bed is gone.
I don't like laundry.
Papa.
Here is your donut.
Ah,
You're getting your donut. Get in there. Get in that.
Get in the donut, Holly.
Get in
Oh,
the
she
donut.
does. Oh no, she
Oh.
heard me.
For her. Lara, it's over. Alright, so the goblins sound like they are readying to shoot anything that comes around the corner.
Yes.
So, Sen, you are first. If you want to draw the attacks and are comfortable with your armor class, you could take the dodge action and snap around the corner. it's probably not going to be very likely that you'll be able to get a shot off with your bow or throwing of daggers. How many daggers did you have, by the way?
One.
It is currently embedded in the goblin's shield,
Yeah.
actually. Sorry.
So, yeah, it's cool. Can I just peek around the corner?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a stealth check if you're trying to do it without drawing the shots.
Yes.
Okay.
19.
You basically do one of those Bruce Willis moves from Fifth Element. You just kind of pop out. You see that there are a total of 3 of them behind the wall. That's very similar to the wall on the opposite side. If you want to move your token out to look at it, you can. I'll allow that. But yeah, you managed to kind of get an idea of what's going on the opposite side. It looks like there's 2 normal doors on the other side of the wall. One to their to your left when you look at them, and one directly behind them. There's also a door in this room, and the door in this room appears to be similar to the doors you saw in the prison section. Steel with the one eye slot. It also looks like there is near there a little like step stool or like little ladder. And based on the track marks near the door, it looks like someone has slid the little stairs over to look into the hole a number of times.
They're short.
Fair. That is accurate. They are small sized. But yeah, that would be your action to basically gauge that. So
Yeah. I relay the information to the group.
actually, cutting action would let you hide as a bonus action. So if you want, you can still have an action. I don't know what it would be.
I don't either. Honestly.
With that stealth check,
maybe...
what I'll let you do is, as Meepo's kind of like near the goblin body, and you're kind of ducking out real quick, kind of moving the shield over with your hand.
Can I get my dagger
And
back?
yanking the dagger out. There we go. Not a wasted turn. All right.
Yay.
Aveline, there is one more square of caltrops between you and that mess of a wall. You're muted, I think. Still muted? Can you guys? Okay.
You're good. Stephanie's muted.
Okay.
Sorry.
There she is. There she is.
Yeah, it's just like one. I'll focus on one mess at a time. I'm gonna go clean those caltrops up.
You currently have 3 sets of caltrops. All right. Meepo looks to you, Hero, after what Sen had said, and is kind of now waiting for like the go ahead. If you want to give it to him now, he'll take his full turn. If you want to wait, he's going to delay. Do we want to let him go get shot a bunch, or do we want to...
I think you should stay back, Meepo.
He kind of nods his head. All right. It's your up. If you want to be the first one in.
So can you move, is it okay to move diagonally?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I now have my 2 long swords. How much time do I have left on the potion of fire breath?
This has literally been 5 minutes, if that.
Okay.
The fighting portion. I think the majority of the time we've spent moving into this was the talking at the beginning, because combat rounds last 6 seconds.
Gotcha. I am going to charge in here, not dash, but move in here. So 5.
The second you come around the corner there, 3 arrows come flying towards you.
Okay. I have to make a check.
No, they are going to attack at you, and they'll be against your armor class.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. First one is a miss. Second one is a miss, and the third one is a crit. So the arrows kind of like, one hits your hide and kind of bounces off, one hits your armor, kind of bounces off. The last one kind of catches you in the forehead and leaves like a pretty solid scratch. You'll take 9 points of piercing damage as blood kind of like starts to come down your scales on your face.
Poor lizard man.
Mushroom.
That was a good amount.
And you have an idea of where they're at. They're kind of in here, but since you don't have a torch right now, you left it back that way. It's completely pitch black. But if you want to shoot a burning fire mote at them, that might generate some light.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And what would I?
Dead middle, to the left or to the right?
We're gonna do like dead middle.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 46, and we'll just see if I have to roll a check or not. Yeah, I cannot succeed. You hit the goblin, and its body just kind of becomes a burst of flame, and it kind of drops to its knees, but doesn't fall all the way, so it's still kind of like set up, and it's basically like a little bonfire of goblins sitting there on the top of the wall. It ignites and basically illuminates the portion of the room that you're able to see there. The other goblins right next to him.
Okay, and that would be an actual action, right?
Bonus action to shoot the fire, I think.
Oh, that's a bonus action?
Mhm.
Okay.
And they're actually on the wall, not behind it, sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Am I able to keep moving after that? Or
Yep.
is that basically my movement's ended?
Your actions and bonus actions can happen at any point during your movement. And if your action has like multiple points in it, like if you get multiple attacks eventually, you can move in between those attacks. So yeah, you can keep moving up to the wall.
So this would be 25 feet total if I continued up to
Okay.
where this goblin is.
And since you bonus actioned, you won't be able to two-weapon fight, but you will be able to swing
Yeah.
with your lead weapon.
Yep, which I will do. With the vicious longsword.
Okay.
I got 18.
Yep. Even with the cover of the wall, that still hits.
6 slashing.
All right. So I'll introduce you to coin a phrase, one that I believe Stephanie is still familiar with. If you hit a creature to a point where its hit points are reduced to half, it's bloodied. And something we do here, just because it's a tradition, if you reduce a creature to exactly 1 hit point, it sometimes will be said that you have chatted a creature. This is because a friend of ours, Chad Houston, would oftentimes hit a creature with smites, most powerful attacks, anything, always. I'm pretty sure he's maybe killed like 2 or 3 creatures ever in his entire D&D career. He typically just reduces it to exactly 1 hit point, and it's hilarious every time.
Yeah, I feel like when I played with him, it was like he would do that, and then one of us would just go
Finish it off.
and finish him off.
Toll the Dead, or
Yep.
battle a great axe attack. Yeah,
Spam Toll the Dead.
You that's how you play a cleric. But that's a solid enough hit to drop it to almost dead. All right, Nodder, you can hear the sounds of combat. And before you go, I'm actually going to take the delayed turn for Meepo. So the way we do it on our side is if you delay your action, you just take your turn at a later point in the initiative. But it cannot be in reaction to something. It just has to happen. If you want to react to something and kind of stop it from happening, then that's called readying an action, which is a little different. But yeah, Meepo is going to now move in and hop up. Trying not to steal your glory. He will attempt to stab with his dagger up at the one to the left. He misses. He can't really make it up to the wall. The wall seems to be doing its what it's supposed to do in defending against kobolds.
Imagining Meepo jumping and poking.
Alright, so Nodder?
Well, now that I'm free of the wall, I can go 1. I get to hear. My full movement.
Mm-hmm. You can actually go on top of the goblin corpse if you wanted.
Am I get that far?
Mm-hmm.
I'll end my turn here.
Okay. If you have a weapon you can throw, you could throw it.
Ah, I wish I'd grabbed some rubble.
The goblin does appear to be holding a weapon if you want to pick it up and throw it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alright. Just make a strength roll up in the top left, and since it's within 20 feet, you won't have disadvantage. It's an
Alright,
improvised weapon. Or you can throw the goblin, I guess.
Oh, I'm gonna throw the goblin. I'm grabbing that goblin and tossing it. I'm mad about those caltrops.
All right. Because you're throwing the goblin, I was going to give you disadvantage, but because the goblin you're attacking doesn't have a shield up and is just using the cover of the wall, a 16 will hit. You pick up the goblin by its head, it kind of like shakes a bit, and you hurl it legs overhead, and it kind of whips down, so it basically kicks into the goblin on the other side of the wall. Roll a d4, four-sided dice, and add your strength modifier.
How do I pick?
On the left side, there's a little d20. If you click it,
Gotcha.
Yep, should give you options for dices. Dices, die. And your strength modifier is a 5.
Oh, yes.
All right. You hear a sickening kind of slap of goblin on more sturdy goblin, and then both kind of tumble over and basically kind of slam down onto the ground behind the wall. Meepo, like coming down from his second hop to try and stab the thing, looks over at the bear, and he says, "You're gonna toss him." All right. The goblin on the top, scared, completely maddened with fright, throws his bow down and kind of raises his hands, and in really bad Draconic says, "Surrender! Surrender!" And Meepo says, "No!" Sen.
I'll go ahead and move around here. Let's see. I forgot how.
Oh, sorry. Alenia would have moved out. Nobody's wounded, right?
Well,
Hero
Hero
took-
is.
I am very wounded.
He's got an arrow to the face.
Then she'll actually come around the wall and she'll give you healing touch. Cure wounds.
Aw, sweet. Okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So I'm gonna come around the wall. Let's see.
Gain that much back.
Can I go up to here, right behind
Meepo, yeah.
Meepo? Cool. Does that give me a clear shot
On the goblin.
at the goblin?
Yeah, if you want to throw your dagger up into him, sure. And if you hit, you'd have sneak attack damage.
Sweet.
Because it's adjacent to Hero.
Oh, that was not good.
Yep. So you hurl the dagger. It kind of like it's like this, surrender, and then it sees this dagger. It's like, oh shit! It drops down. The dagger goes flying. You hear a loud kind of cling, and then and then you can actually see the dagger's blade fragment away from the hilt as the dagger splits apart after hitting the stone wall.
Dang it.
All right.
I tried.
So, Aveline, there are still 4 more squares of caltrops. There is the broken wall, and someone left this torch on the ground.
I can
Can't
feel
have
the daggers
anything
in my
nice.
back.
So I am almost compulsively compelled to pick these caltrops up,
Okay.
but I wanted to know, since I'm like really close to a spot that doesn't have them, is it still going to like impede my?
Oh, no. It won't impede your movement. In fact, since you kind of have like a process and have picked these up for several turns, you have like an apron, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of come up with a method where if you get like them on the ground and in a line, you can just run across the hall and scoop up, I would say, 4 squares worth of remaining squares into your apron and then kind of toss them into the bag you're keeping caltrops.
Awesome. So I've got 7 sets.
Of caltrops.
Yep.
Nice.
All right.
I cleaned them up. Can I move after that, or is that
Well, you'd be moving 4 squares, so you could kind of move back into your same position effectively.
okay?
Meepo looks to Hero and looks to the goblin. He looks like he wants to run up you and try and stab this guy, but he's not going to do it if you kind of give him a no, don't do it. We're going to try and keep this guy alive situation. Although it looks like Sen might have blown the whole surrender thing.
I look to him. I look over to Meepo, nod my head, and then crouch down.
He jumps onto your knee and then jumps like around you onto your back, and jumps off of you up onto the wall and stabs at the goblin. Hits. You hear a loud clunk, and then you hear a crushing sound as it sounds like they land into something, when you kind of peer over the wall, you see Meepo and the goblin, Meepo on top of the goblin, in a fire pit, and you can kind of see the smoke of the embers kind of rising from the side of the goblin. All right, that is combat completed. So we'll go ahead and drop out of initiative. It does look like the 5 goblins have been defeated. Starting with Stephanie, since she's in backline. What would you like to do after the combat is concluded?
I would like to kind of catch up to the rest of the group and just...
Do you want to grab that torch?
Oh yeah, let's grab the torch.
Okay. You now have the vision. And it's up to the 1 square, then left, then down. All right. Let's see. Alenia kind of looks to everyone else to see if anybody's wounded. And then starts kind of looking to the goblin bodies. Just curious, it seems. You see that she does kind of go to one and start fiddling with something at the creature's neck. All right. David, what would Nodder like to do? Aveline does come over. She definitely has a certain kind of sound to her as she's holding pounds and pounds of caltrops in a bag.
That's pretty cool. I wish I had thought of the goblin thing myself. Oh my, so good. I'm gonna go over to the wall. His daughter is still kind of salty that he had to fight long range.
Well, you could start putting the goblins in a quiver. I'm not serious. Don't do that.
Nah, I'm probably gonna do that.
A little too crazy.
Nah, looks like it's done.
All right. Anything of interest to you? Again, there's the prison door.
I guess, yeah, the prison door. Like, what's up? Can I see in there?
You can. Looking inside, it looks like there are 2 groups. One group appears to be a single small-sized individual locked in a cage. He kind of looks at you like he can see you. And he's on the far side of the room. There are several chained positions, and from what you can tell from the blood splatter on the ground, it looks like there was a bit of beating and torture that happened in this place. There's definitely a lot of blood splatter around the gnome in the far corner. But despite that, this small humanoid creature looks like a gnome. Seems to be in pretty bright spirits. Kind of gives you you can see the pearly whites of his teeth as he smiles, beams you a smile. And then to the left of you, there appear to be 3 kobolds chained to a single spike in the floor. Very similar to the spikes that were in the floor back in Kobold Town, where the goblins were being held up.
Mm-hmm.
Door's locked, though.
I mean, I can. Nothing I've not punched through before.
You want to try and punch through this door?
I'm going to try and barrel roll through this door.
Throw that weight on it. Athletics check. Give it to me.
Da-da-da-da.
Someone get this bear a crowbar. I mean, doors seem to be his forte. He's going to need... You guys hear a loud clung as bear slams into metal door.
There's a gnome in here.
And he says, "There's a gnome in here," and you hear from the door frame, "My name's Erky, actually."
3 kobolds.
The kobolds, they go, draconic talk. They're talking amongst themselves, and then too far away, doesn't deal with that. Let's see. Next up would then be Sen. You'd be the next in the back line.
Okay. I wanted to go over and check this door.
Okay.
Here.
Are you checking it for a lock, traps, or just checking it for sound?
Checking it for locks.
Okay, it's not locked. It does appear that this door is actually kind of hanging pretty loosely on its hinges. It doesn't look like the door handle is in proper repair, so it kind of looks like it's been turned down, and it hasn't turned down for what? I don't know, but it does look like it's kind of locked in that position, and it basically just be pushed open or pushed closed.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. It was
What
good.
we're here for.
We come for the puns.
Can I go ahead and open it?
Yeah. Pushing it open reveals a bunch of boxes and barrels. The stink of meat, some slightly kind of fetid notes are present. And the barrel immediately to your right upon entering, it looks like the lid is off, and there are 6 ladles, handled ladles, that kind of droop over the edge, are inside of it, and it looks like the contents of that barrel are kind of a bit of water, and it looks relatively clean.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
The duck they were talking about.
This must be the duck they weren't exactly satisfied with.
Oh yes, the badly cooked duck.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right. Hero, you see Sen pop across the wall, moving past Meepo, push open a door, give it a look, make a joke. Nodder looks like he's trying to slam through a metal door. You can hear Aveline. You can hear Aveline coming through. Alenia seems to be playing with something on the neck of one of the goblins, and Meepo's trying to extract his dagger from the skull of the goblin.
Yeah, so I'd walk over to where Lenya is and kind of crouch down over the body, ask her what she may have found, because I also want to investigate the bodies.
She gives a fierce pull on the string of the necklace that the goblin is wearing, and pulling it off, she holds up what appears to be kind of a round bit of silver with a symbol kind of carved into it and then filled in with possibly ink, possibly charcoal, something dark that kind of stands it out. And basically the symbol you're looking at, it looks like a circle with 3 kind of branches coming off of it, all kind of in the same pattern, like a spiral. She holds it up to you and she says, "This symbol represents an Atma. It's sometimes used by the representatives of the orc god, but also it's sometimes utilized by representatives of..." Well, that can't be. Why would they have this symbol? They're not orcs, and they're not serving orcs. They're serving more goblins, right? That's what we were told by the kobold, right? This just brings more questions as to who this Belak is. Servants of Shadow. She hands it over to you. Do you know if the Atma has any specific interest to dragons at all? It doesn't.
Okay. I was just about to say, like, I have no idea. So, yeah, I would say no, not that I'm aware of.
She looks over to Nodder, who I'm assuming is getting ready for yubba number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make another strength athletics check.
I'm gonna get through this door.
I believe it.
Yabba dabba doo.
Next store we get to.
Sen, looking over, he is making a bit of noise. Probably not enough to alert anybody in like rooms farther away, but if there's something in the room above you, they might be aware of what's going on in here.
You want me to open the door for you, dude?
You know, I forgot you were good at that. I'm like, it's like almost done though.
Is it?
You know what?
I'll come over and This door's locked, right?
Yeah, so most prison doors, as I'm sure you are aware,
Are locked.
they do not have door handles. It's basically key in, turn, and then that opens it. And then anytime it shuts, it automatically locks. So, yeah, this door is absolutely locked, 100%. If
Only
you
that
wish
I
to
would
try and
expect
open it with
Opal.
Thieves' Tools, just make a Thieves' Tools dexterity check.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it, but it's not letting me scroll down to it. Hold on. I need to reopen my thing, I think. There we go. Where did they go? There it is. Hello, Thieves' Tools?
Yeah, it should bring up a query option, and you'll want to select dexterity as the option for it. In the meantime, Aveline coming into the room and seeing the complete and utter mess that has been made of this room. I guess this is going to be a meme. It does look like the goblins, just kind of seeing them on the wall. The one that's still kind of burning a bit. Looks like he has a loop of keys at his belt. You hear a click and then a pop. And Sen, you break 2 picks from your Thieves' Tool set.
2?
You realize
Dang.
you realize that this probably would have been easier if you had your dagger as kind of like a counterpoint to press against for it, and you kind of look over your shoulder back at the wall, and you can still see the streak across the stone where it hit and broke.
Rip.
Um,
Anyone got a dagger?
can I go over to get the keys off the one guy and
Yep.
take it to Sen?
Yep. As you're doing so, Alenia's also
Genius.
walking over to her and pulls out a dagger and hands it to you.
I also had a claw.
Right.
Sen, the dagger she's handing to you is pretty nice. Leather-bound handle. The pommel is a Natavian cross, and it looks like it has a silvered edge. So,
Ooh.
silvered dagger.
So I can take that and retry.
Well, it looks like Aveline's handing you a set of keys.
Oh, right.
There are 2 total keys on the ring.
I'll try both.
Okay. Looking at them, one looks like it's very ornate, and probably not for this, and then the other one looks like it is pretty mundane. Roll me an intelligence or a history check if you have history. Yeah, roll me history. Being
I'm not very
well
clever.
with your background, I'm going to give you advantage on this one. 22. The ornate-looking key you recognize not just being a regular key; it's what's known as a mystery key. If you put it into a lock of your choosing, you roll a D100, and on a specific percentage, it will open any lock. But either way, if it succeeds or not, it still destroys the key.
Ah,
The other key looks like it's just a regular key.
I'll just use the regular key.
Okay. Click, click, it opens the door.
Hooray.
All
Stick my
right.
head. I was like, it could have been so easy.
If only we had used our noodles.
The kobolds look a bit nervous as you enter and are looking at you warily, but they do have a certain level of respect for the situation that they're in, and a little bit of uncertainty. Like, they're not sure, but also a little bit of hope. Like, maybe.
You're a new bastard.
And the gnome on the far side is just smiling. He says, "Well, hey."
I mean, I'm gonna pull this.
Does Meebo know these
Um,
kobolds?
Meebo is kind of kicking the one on the fire. Is kind of busy over there. and looking at the other two angrily. If you say, "Hey, Meepo," he might change his attention, but he's certainly not concerned with anything besides his victory.
I'll let him enjoy himself.
Fair.
He deserves it.
Nodder, you move in. Do you move towards the gnome, or are you going to move towards the kobolds?
I'm gonna try and pull the thing up for the kobold.
Okay. You're strong enough, and you kind of just get down there, wiggle it a bit, and then pull, and you manage to pull the 2-foot-long spike out of the ground, which releases the chains, and they kind of look at you, and quickly start moving towards the door. When they see that Sen's on the other side of it, they kind of nervously try to snake past them. Do you let them?
No, I'm like, hold on.
Scruff them.
One kind of flanked between you two kind of looks over his shoulder and says, and then, which is draconic for what Hero can hear. I don't speak your language.
We want to make sure that everything's, copacetic in here.
Meepo's head kind of snaps up and he goes, Megan! Megan, is that you? And then in draconic, Meepo, what are you doing here? And then Meepo says, I'm saving you. Began kind of looks down to the ground. You definitely deserve your scale this day. And Meepo says, I am going to save Calcrix as well. The blue one, the wise blue one, will help me. Began says, we join you?
Oh.
Meepo looks to Hero.
We want him?
What do the rest of you guys think about this?
They don't understand if they don't speak draconic.
I would just heard babble, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like,
It's literally been bark, 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 bark,
Yeah,
bark.
true.
Meepo.
kind of relay what they were talking about and them coming with us. So the rest of the group ask if we would want to have more with us.
Alenia says we're helping them fight against the people oppressing their home and causing this citadel to be dark and maligned based on the symbols these goblins bear. I'm for it.
I agree. Alenia.
I
just-
mean, if they're anything like Meepo, they have the fire, so
That bloodlust.
they're blood.
I'm just looking as excited as possible, still kind of deadpan, but I just really think that the kobolds are cute. So
Began looks to Sen and then looks past Sen where there are a couple of spears laying on the ground. And then Began's going to try and walk past Sen to move towards the spear and pick one up. If you allow it, Began and the other two kobolds will start moving out, looking to Hero and picking up the spears and kind of loosening their joints. And they look to you and they say, also it's kind of directed at Meepo, Began seeming to be the leader of this small group, he says, the one in there in the cage. He is good. He kept us alive. He helped us. Nodder, you kind of turn back to the cage and there's still a gnome smiling at
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Hey there.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna ask for help. Guys, can you guys help me get this gnome off the wall?
He's in a cage. It's on the ground. Just sitting on the ground. He says, I knew you'd come. Dim sent you, didn't he?
Him.
Him?
Dim. Yeah, Dim. And he pulls a holy symbol out of his pants and raises it up. As it spins to face you, the holy symbol seems to be nothing more than a black circle set on like a gold disc. And he grins. Dim. And points.
I don't know him.
Sen, hearing Urki, you'd be tentatively familiar with Dim. Dim is the god of fortune, the god of luck.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, Dim, not Tim.
Dim.
I was like,
Yep.
who is Tim?
Who's Tim? Why did Tim?
Timothy?
Tim, the enchanter, the evoker. Yeah. Hail, good Dim. But yeah, he told me you'd come. He kept me alive down here for a better part of a year. I came down here with a druid named Belak, and, well, he's killed the rest of our group, but for some reason hasn't been able to get to me. He told the goblins to torture me every day, and they've been doing that, but I pray every morning, and I return myself to full strength. And he grins.
Exactly what I was curious about. If you were a part of the old party that came through here.
Yeah, Belak. Yep, he's a charmer.
I know I can't bash this cage in, so then I'm gonna.
Oh no, that's all right. And he reaches back into his pockets and pulls out a key and hands it to you.
Oh my god, this gnome.
I stole it off of the guards a long time ago. They've tried to get me out of the cage, but haven't been able to figure it out. And he kind of gestures to some of the scratch marks. Little more than prodding with spears, really, that I've had to deal with for the last year or so. But it's not so bad.
I love this gnome.
Could have been worse.
This creepy, creepy guy.
He made the best of a bad situation.
I mean, can't blame him for that.
Infectious positivity.
If you pop him out, he kind of hops out of the cage there with a smile on his face and says, "So, are you here for the other adventures?"
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're dead. And if Belak's still doing what he's been doing, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bad situation for you if you're friends with them or something, and that's why you're down here. I just really hope you have a strong stomach for it.
All of them dead.
I'm pretty certain. They have a massive rat called the Bloated One that's filled with children all the time. And they feed kobolds to it. They've tried to feed me to it, but they can't get me out of the cage. One time they dragged the cage all the way into there and left me there for a time, but the rats couldn't get in, so that was an experience, to be sure. That's back over in the prison area. But yeah, I believe Holy Knight was in here for a little while. I suggested trying to escape, and he said he would not leave without his friends. Then the goblin chieftain came in here, bashed him into the head, and dragged him out back to Belak. So apparently he was requested.
That's unfortunate. But we won't know until we find out.
From what I know, they live somewhere beneath. And unfortunately, I've never been down there. But if I have to bet, if Belak's anywhere, that's where he's at. He kept on talking to us when he first came here, his desire to find his ancestors' grave. Some knight named Gulthias. I thought it sounded like a noble cause, and Dim seemed to be leading me in that direction. Got to take a year off, I guess. Venturing can be pretty hard. Sitting in a cage, not so much.
Is there anything else you know about Belak?
He's a real dick. Very self-serving. Not the nicest person. But, yeah, I mean, somebody offers to take you into a dungeon filled with treasures and possibly long since dead artifacts, you can't say no to that, can you? I mean, that's probably why you're here anyways, right? I'm sure it wasn't to rescue me. But that's what you got. Are any of your friends wounded? I still have a couple spells today.
My friend did get winged by an arrow.
Oh, yeah? He starts walking towards the door if you let him.
Yeah.
All right.
Can everybody hear that or?
I can. 'Cause I'm
Send
right
right
next
at
to
the
the
door.
door.
As Urki comes out, Elenia kind of looks down at him, and he kind of looks up at her, and he says, "Milady," and she kind of gives him a nod. "Dimsman," seeing the symbol on his chest, and he says, "Of course," and he kind of walks over to the person you said who's wounded, and he looks at you, Hero. Do you need some healing?
I could use some.
All right. He begins to cast a spell over his holy symbol, and he touches you, and you regain should have rolled 8 hit points back. And he says, "Unfortunately, that's the limit of my prayers for today. I do have some minor prayers I can perform, but I'll be completely honest with you. If you are intending on moving in to fight Belak, it's not something I'm terribly keen on doing." One of the kobolds, one of the kobolds looks at him and kind of touches his shoulder, just kind of out of nowhere, and he kind of looks at him and says something in Draconic. And Hero, you hear him say, "Of course, friend, of course. We made it through. Dim be praised." And then the kobold kind of nodding his head. Urki looks to you all. "It's not my intent or desire to fight. I just want to get out of here and see the sun." And you see Elenia kind of, "No."
She fangirling.
She worships the sun. So at this point, you can determine how you would like to move forward. Urki is not interested in continuing forward. He will require someone to escort him back. It can be one of the kobolds you just freed, because they'll be able to get him through kobold territory fine. Could be Meepo. You could send him with Elenia. Elenia does not seem like she's interested in leaving. She does want to continue and purify this place entirely. But one of the kobolds could be sent back with them, no problem.
Which of the kobolds is the weakest? We can send them.
All right.
Very astute. Very
I
astute.
mean.
So the weakest kobold and Urki, get ready to head back the way you came. But that said, do you have any other questions for Urki before he gets sent on back?
Would you
No.
say that I was able to hear what they were talking about? I was pretty close to the door with them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you spot any weakness on this Goliath rat or bloated rat?
The bloated one.
Oh,
Bloated one.
I'm
Bloated
pretty
one.
sure its greatest weakness is swords. Looks over to Hero, and I think axes might do it as well. Looking over to Nodder. It's a thing of flesh. It will segment as neatly as the rest. Looking across the way to the dead goblins. I want to make sure you understand. I've heard the goblins talk about something called the Twilight Grove down below, and Belak, I'm pretty sure his intent was to live here. There were rumors, too, about this Gulthias. The people in the town of Hillwatch said that there was a goblin tree. The goblins would call the Gulthias tree, that bore fruit. Red apples during the midsummer and white apples during midwinter. If the druid is doing what druids typically do, I have no doubt that there are gardens or something to that effect down below. And this Gulthias tree that the goblins spoke of might be related to his ancestor somehow. I know not. If he was a druid, then perhaps he grew it himself or something. And regarding the other adventurers, I saw them caught here about a month ago. 3 of them. I think they said their names were Tulgin, Sharwin, and Sir Bradford. It wasn't very long before the goblins took the 2 besides Sir Bradford down and away from us. And then I suggested escaping with Sir Bradford, and he elected not to. And he wanted to stay so he could be with his friends. And the chieftain, Drun, came in and bashed him in the head and dragged him down into the dark. So my assumption is that, yeah, they're probably dead.
Sounds like it. Does this bloated one...
It's back.
Do they eat... Huh?
It's back in the prisons.
Yes. But we have to go through the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sir Bradford said that one of their friends fell to the beast. Someone named Caracus, I believe.
Does it only eat alive things?
I believe it just eats.
It just eats. Great. Important question.
If I may interject, I'm not sure exactly what you guys are doing. I'm kind of piecing things together, but I did see that there was a dirty rat earlier when we were going to the area where they were kept.
Urki says, I have a troubling feeling that the bloated one can see through her children.
Great.
Watching it the whole time.
And it is no doubt, after seeing it up close, that it was a spawn of Belak's foul magic's blight-filled creature that it was. I would say, unless you are absolutely set upon destroying it, I personally would avoid it. And I'm going to. Any other questions before I head back? The little kobold. Yeah! But in Draconic.
If we were to avoid it, do you know a way that we could?
It out of character note. It's the prison cells are back the direction you didn't go.
Yeah.
So
just going straight.
So going to either of these 2 doors that you have here that are not prison doors, because there's another door inside the storage room.
Yeah.
And then there's the door to the north of the goblin wall. So if you go to any of those options, then you won't have to deal with the bloated one, because it's all the way back that way. But if you want to make sure that the evil of its foulness is destroyed, which Elenia seems to perk her ears up at, then you would want to avoid it and just not go there anymore.
Fair.
I don't like dirty rats.
Elenia says, I don't like foul magics born in shadow.
So, that's all for me.
She does look to Hero and nod her when she says that, and she says, it is not our mission to recover Caracus' body or any of his remains, nor is it our mission to destroy any of those things, but if I continue to help you in this matter, on our way back out, can we go back and destroy it?
I was already curious to find out what happened to Caracus anyway. Killing this rat that is fed kobolds and other innocent creatures?
Elenia kind of nods her head at Nodder. A bit of honor there. She kind of is looking at you like she might have misjudged you. Alright. Well then, again, we can wait until after she says this as she looks back to Hero. Or we can go and deal with it now. Quietly, Urki and the kobold just whistle and walk the hell out of there. La la la, go fight your I don't care.
Have fun dying.
Meepo, Began, and Weg basically gear up, ripping the leather armors off of the goblins that they can and strapping those on. Meepo's already kitted and ready to go. The dagger that he had, he pockets that and settles it into his belt, walks over and grabs one of the spears as well, and the three of them kind of slam their spears down on the ground and look to Hero, ready.
Hero's got an army.
Oh,
Hero is
little-
currently being worshipped.
Why is
They
blue
have little
one?
armor.
Why is blue one?
Never knew you could be so inspirational.
Hell yeah. Spitting fire and slashing things in half.
and he's tall.
Oh, right, also tall. But yeah, I leave it to the group. Do you want to go kill bloated ones or continue on to Goblin Town?
I want
I'm
to kill a
up
rat.
for-
I want to get rid of the filthy rats.
One vote for filthy rats.
I want to kill a rat.
2 votes.
For filthy rats.
But Hero.
It's not in my nature to go out of my way when it's not part of the mission, but at the same time, I need you guys to succeed. So I'll go with the group.
Cool. Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want
Alright.
to grab some meat
Um,
from that storage room.
Popping it open, you see that there's some human meat. There does appear to be a lot of the skin and flesh still remaining on it. One of them appears to be the face of a man kind of sitting at the top of one of the boxes. Based on the look of his face, a farmer. That lid is probably quickly shut. Opening up another box, this looks like it was actually like a supply container that was being transferred between towns. And might have been bandited by the goblins for their own purposes. Opening it inside is hardtack on the top, and then kind of settled beneath it is a nice dry stock of jerkies. From what you can tell, it appears to be beef. But if you want to, you can muster from the gathering here, I'd say 10 days worth of rations if you want to pile it onto your sheet.
Okay.
All right.
I can do that.
Yeah, and the water seems to be very crisp and clear, very similar to the water you saw, water you would have seen in the kobold section. The presumption is that's coming from the water decanter thing.
Hmm.
All right. If the goal is to move to Rat Town, I'm going to go ahead and just start dragging people over. So that way you don't have to cycle all the way around. Let's see. So bear with.
While you're doing that, I turn to Nodder and ask, since we're going into this and swords are in fact the weakness, do you mind I take that everlasting candle after all, since I'll need to two-hand my swords?
Zombie.
Thank you.
And if you want to, you can take the torch that you have, which still has about 20 minutes or so left on it, and just hand it to one of the kobolds.
I believe that actually Aveline has that torch now,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody should have.
which I have zero interest in taking back.
Okay. Let me get you glowing then. 40-20. Alright, so as you move into the prison cell area, you can hear the sounds of rats in the side chambers as you're approaching the middle section. The first 2 prison cells appear to be barren. They don't look like they've ever, based on what you can see, they don't look like they've really had anything in them. But these next 2 that you see 2 large rats, one in each cell, kind of lingering and looking at you. It does look like there are some holes in the walls that kind of form little barrows, and it looks like they're kind of like on the edge of darting into the holes if you were to try and move in after them. They're just kind of watching you warily. Up ahead in the light, you can see the outline of a fountain. And as you kind of move forward, if you move forward, you'll see that it's very similar to the fountain that was below that poured out the fire breath thing. Bear with me here for a second. Grab out my notes here. I just want to make sure that the dragon statue is the same. I think it is. And I am...
I'm gonna grab a quick drink.
Okay.
And snack.
So the cells look like they're kind of like little barrows for the rats, kind of filled with like mess of rat stuff and little holes that they can sneak in and away from. Up ahead, the dry fountain, as I mentioned. The floor, the cobblestone floor, it looks like there are 2 trap doors kind of near the fountain that have been stopped from falling inwards with iron spikes. So someone has basically, similar to the trap door out front where you found Aveline, someone has closed these ones off by shoving in iron spikes. The fountain has a carved, overarching diving dragon, not too dissimilar from the one back that way. And this place smells of rotted meat and death.
Great. Kind of want to keep going forward.
Okay. Ignoring the 2 rats that you passed by.
Are there mice in there? Are
Yeah.
there rats in there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're rats. You want them? You want to go get them?
I'll bash a rat.
Are you going to move to try and attack the rat?
I mean, yeah, I'll go into this left one.
It very quickly darts into the hole in the wall.
You son of a gun.
And it seems like the other one on the other side does so as well.
Oh, damn it.
I missed it.
They too fast.
Guess gotta shoot them. I don't like to shoot.
It doesn't look like they're just sitting inside the holes. It looks like they're like little tunnels and they're moving through them. Alright. Sen, there is a door on the left side. And it looks like that door is closed. Doesn't look like it's trapped. Or it doesn't look like it's locked either. Just looks like a very simple flip switch kind of simple mechanism. But yeah, do you want to check out these traps, or do you want to check out this fountain?
I'll check out the traps.
Okay, so they look like they are pit traps, not too dissimilar from the ones outside, but it looks like they have been broken effectively by the things being placed into them. You can remove them and drop the traps and make the pits appear if you want, but it'll probably just be 20-foot deep pits with nothing in them.
Standard. Okay. Okay.
And I'll kind of show you where those are for your reference.
Okay.
Trying to anyway.
Cool.
And so in between the two, remember how outside there was a single kind of like walkway?
Hmm.
In this one, there's a single walkway in between the two that leads up to the fountain.
Okay.
But it looks like the traps have been broken to the point where you can walk across them no problem.
Cool. So the traps are safe.
Yeah.
Nice. In that case, I'll go ahead and go up to the fountain.
Bunch of draconic writing on the basin, the front of the basin, similar to the one outside.
I need a hero for that.
Yeah, he's getting beverages.
Heavy.
But if you ask the kobolds, they will bark at you curiously, and Meepo, speaking common tongue, will look at you and says, "Oh, no good, no good. Meepo say no good. It says, 'Let there be death in your tongue.'" And the other two go, "Ah!" and kind of back away.
Okay, so let's not drink that. Oh, he got lots of snacks.
He came ready. He's like, long haul time. I'm going in. I got the gear. Let's go. I got all this stuff.
Not like these sugar snap peas.
What did I miss?
So they moved up. There's a fountain. There are 2 trap pits on the ground, but they seem to have been broken. So you can move across them. If you wanted to, you could remove the pinions that are kind of holding them in place and make the traps ready to spring again, but at current they don't spring. And then the fountain is similar to the one outside, except that this one, according to what Meepo just read, says, "Let there be death." And he said it in the common tongue, and nothing happened. And then the other kobolds freaked out, kind of backed away behind you and Alenia. Meepo's still kind of looking over at Sen, like, nervously. And then there's a door on the left side. Also a door.
Wait, so he said it only in
Common. Yeah, he didn't read
not
it aloud in
Draconic?
Draconic, right?
Walking forward then, I would reread it in Draconic.
Alright. Alright. Sen, Aveline, Meepo, and since you moved forward, you, Hero, need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Whoa. Super excited about this one.
Curse these.
Alright. No. Alright. So, Aveline and Hero, you are fine. You'll be taking a whole total points of 2 points of poison. And Sen, you'll be taking 5 points of poison. And you are poisoned, the poisoned condition, for 10 minutes. Meepo falls to the ground. And the other 2 kobolds, "Ah! Wise one, speak the death words! Meepo, the dragon skill, die!" So we're kind of falling into an initiative round because NPCs will have death saving throws to go through. Meepo is currently in the dying state. Who would like to act first to try and help Meepo? It's probably going to be Alenia, but I just want to see if anybody else wants to be a hero. I mean, Hero, right? You don't want to be a hero, then you're just going to read the words again.
Kill people.
Oh, sorry, apologies. If you succeeded, you're still poisoned for 1 minute, so the poison condition will be on you.
So what is that?
It means that you have disadvantage on all attack rolls and ability score checks. But Alenia will move forward if nobody's moving to Meepo, and she will cast a spell to get him back up.
Why would you do that to the lizard man?
And I believe that is his last, or her last cure spell for the day.
Oh, joy. We're dead.
No, she's got one more.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're almost dead.
Yeah. Meepo, eyes flutter open, and in Draconic, the other 2 go, The fair one! The fair one brings back Meepo, the dragon scale! The fair one! The fair one was brought by the white one, Calcrix! She is a priestess of snow and ice! And Meepo looks to them. She is great! Do not distrust the wise one! Do not distrust him! There was another fountain that gave him great power when the words were read. He is also poisoned. Poor little guy. No.
Whoops.
I'm really angry at Hero right now.
Dying.
So what would you like to do? You're poisoned for 10 minutes. It does look like the room besides that is cleared. There's a door to the left. And it smells really bad in here. Even more so after a burst of poison was shot out from the dragon's mouth. What's the plan?
I can't really do anything, can I? Being
Well,
poisoned.
you can still do
Or
stuff.
am I
You're just not as good.
Okay, so I stumble over to the door.
Yeah.
I like your style.
And you did say that, like, we're still poisoned too, right? Even though we
For 1
kind of
minute, yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah.
since it took about, I'd say 30 seconds for Sen to kind of stumble that way, if we do get into a combat immediately when this door opens, it'll be for 5 rounds. All right. When you open the door, a nightmare unfolds before your eyes.
I just said I stumbled over to the door. I didn't say I opened it. But I can
Call it.
open it too, because I'm being drunk. I'm basically drunk.
Do you want it opened?
Yeah.
A nightmare basically unfolds before your eyes. An oppressive smell suffocates the air, rising from chewed carcasses of cave rats, smaller vermin, humanoid-looking creatures. You can see bits of kobold, goblin, definitely quite a bit of humanoid, all on the ground. The bodies lie upon a floor of filth, old bones, hair just scattered about, some fur as well. That combine to make a particularly large and vile kind of nest matted to the stone. Looks like in some parts it's literally been down so long it would probably peel with kind of a sickening kind of just nasty tearing sound. And my cat's currently kicking my camera.
He ruined the moment, man.
It's Mittens this time.
Aww. We haven't had an Aelin appearance today.
It's all baby girl this time.
Aww.
All right, let's see. Back to the disgusting. The room is filled with giant rats who look like they are diseased and kind of sickening kind of maws, more yellow and fetid teeth than the rats you've seen outside. And in the center of their mass is a larger, slightly larger than them rat that seems to be kind of undulating and kind of pulsing with kind of these boils or bobbles kind of in its fur and skin. And as you can see, there's patches where like the fur is kind of broken away, and there are cuts in it, and it looks like you can see smaller rats moving inside of its flesh. I think I have a handout. It's not as good a picture as the one I just drew out. Hold on. Handouts, locations, Sunless Citadel, 30. It's the big one.
Nice.
All right. And they all kind of look at you with yellow eyes, which kind of reflect the light that's shining in at them. And you can kind of hear a hungry hiss emanate from all of them in unison. Those of you who are in the fountain room aren't really hearing that, but the smell definitely increases once the door is opened. It definitely smells really bad in here. Nodder, since you are in the back line, and the 2 kobolds are as well, you hear hissing coming from behind you as well.
Whoa.
All the rats you missed.
Yay.
All right. Yeah, it's probably gonna go to Fight Town. Let's do it.
Wait. Can I throw some of those rations at them?
We'll see how it goes. It's definitely gonna be an action to do it.
Dang it.
But yeah, select your token and roll that beautiful beam footage.
Hey, John, did you mean for music to still be playing?
I did, and I don't know why it stopped because I had it on loop. But let's go ahead and change it anyways because we want combat fights. All right. So, Alenia will be going on a... Yeah, it went out at about the same time that my Discord dropped out. Is Discord working for anybody else?
Yeah.
That's weird. Let's restart it. Okay, let's see. I've got Did Alenia roll?
Looks like a 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's what she was going on last time anyway, so. Alright, and then Gulthias. The Bloated One. I will denote Gulthias once there in the center. Its token doesn't look any different. But if you ever ask which one is Gulthias, if you're targeting it specifically, I'll point it out. Let's see. Oh, and General Rats will go on Gulthias' turn. Alright. Descending. Alright, Sen, you're first. Immediately upon opening the door and kind of looking in at the mess, like the horror of it, you kind of snap zoom, just like at everything, like that, kind of like horror trope of kind of deal. You see that there's an elf carcass near Gulthias. Its face is kind of twisted in just horror. Its neck's kind of chewed out. You can see the bone underneath. But it does look like there are the remnants of leather armor about the body as well. This might be Caracas. Or Carcass. Maybe. Alright. What would you like to do on the first initiative roll, besides vomit?
I would like to vomit and then throw some of those rations at the rats.
Okay.
In attempts as a distraction.
All right. Just kind of pulling out a bit of meat and dropping it down onto the ground, the jerky then.
Yeah.
All right. And then do you want to move away?
Yeah. Because I'm too drunk for this.
Okay. Hero, a bit for worse for wear with the poisoning, but only 5 turns of it in this combat if it lasts that long. We'll see. What would you like to do? The door is open. You can kind of see from your position moving shadows.
Yeah, so I want to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4. I should be exactly 30 feet away from
Gulthias.
the Bloated One.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go ahead and use my actual lightning breath.
Okay.
So that is a
Dexterity saving throw, I believe.
dexterity saving throw of 8 plus my Constitution modifier.
Plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, where do I find the actual Constitution modifier?
So your con score is up in the top left, and then the plus bonus will be your modifier. So it's in the top left of your character sheet. First page, if you're looking at multiple pages.
Is it like the numbers off to the left that are vertical?
The plus modifier, wherever it says plus something. So it'll say Constitution on there, and then it should go Strength, Dex, and then Con. So it should be whatever the modifier is there. Let me.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there's no plus is the thing. It's just 3 and then a 16.
Oh, the 3. Sorry, they don't have the
Oh,
pluses
okay.
there. I apologize. So yeah,
Oh, you're good.
the big number is the modifier, and then the little number, which is the larger, like, valued number, that's the score. The score determines your modifier. Complicated, I know. It's
Okay.
old stuff from old D&D. At least we don't have percentiles and THACO. A story for another day. This one's more interesting. That said, lightning breath on Gulthias. So your Constitution modifier is a 4, right?
3.
3, sorry. And then your proficiency bonus is currently a 2, so that's 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. So I need to make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw. And it shouldn't have rolled out in the open, but it did. I apologize. I'll put myself back behind the screen. But this nasty bloated thing seems to be a bit more nimble than you were hoping. It still takes half damage on that, I believe?
Yep, 2d6 half damage.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a 2d6 and I'll take half.
Did that roll? There we go.
Mhm.
So it's going to be 5,
All right,
which...
2. Round down.
Yep.
All right, so a bit of lightning cackles through. You see it kind of back away from it, and kind of streaks of lightning edge out across its fur, just making it stand on end its eyes kind of bright yellow, kind of sickeningly. And as it like seems to be wounded, you notice that its attention is on you, and then you also notice that all the other rats are also kind of peering around the door and looking in at you as well.
Okay, so as a bonus action, I'm also going to use my last use of fire breath.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah.
And
And that's just DC 13.
Yeah. All right. Let me get the roll out there. This one will be hidden. It's pretty good.
Well, yeah.
All right. Yikes. Really good combination of maneuvers there. Yeah, you fire lightning in, it kind of backs away and focuses in on you, and then the bolt of flame kind of slams into it, and you watch as it pops, and you see little rats kind of burst out of it, and its like body kind of twist outward, and kind of a sickening kind of slap, and it's dead. The other rats seem to lose attention on you and kind of focus in a bit more on the meat that was thrown on the ground.
Well, so much for that being super scary.
Aveline.
So the grossest rat is gone, right?
The grossest rat is gone. Very dead, yes.
Okay.
He breath weapon wombo combo that.
I do just want to say real quick out of character, does that make up for my terrible mistake earlier?
You're forgiven.
Tiny bit.
Meepo says, "See, wise one," and the other kobolds are like, "Oh, 2 breaths."
Yeah.
They say, "Aang, Aang, the Avatar." Anyways, yeah, the other rats are still technically engaged, but they are definitely not maneuvering towards you.
So, since they're distracted and kind of, did they like congregate in one area?
They're not moving yet. They haven't had a turn to do so yet. But
Gotcha.
are you going to move into the room?
I was gonna move like just outside of the room.
Okay, you can see there's a pile of rations that have been kind of, the meat's been kind of strewn out onto the ground, which you kind of saw Sen do from the back end. It looks like the nasty, basically, blossom of dead rat and little rats kind of rushing away from it. And you can see that the elf carcass is not too far from there. They kind of give you a little bit of attention, but it's very just standard bestial, like what you got from the rats back in the other hallways and stuff.
I'm just reading.
Sorry, let me go ahead and change the music to not as deep, awesome, cool, just gonna be a fight since I was defeated quickly.
Iron Lightning.
I'll go ahead and
It's a pretty cool combo.
follow that up with a Mega Man Fire Blast out of my hand.
Add a rat.
Yes,
Okay.
I think. This one. Oh, I'm clicking it, but it's not doing it.
Real quick, can you hear music or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I can't hear it. That's strange.
Well, now it's gone for us.
Huh.
I'm hearing it right now.
That's super weird. Well, okay, I'll just let it settle. That's fine. Until I change it up. But yeah, you shoot at one. What'd you get?
25.
Yeah, it definitely hits roll damage.
Does what?
Roll damage. Click on the
Oh, okay.
firebolt there and see what we get. It kind of just a little bit of fire flies out of it, hits it. It seems to scare it more than anything else. Nodder, what would you like to do? It looks like Aveline's currently moving into the room. Hero has a pretty confident look on his face, like he just ended it.
All right, then I heard rats behind us.
Yeah, you did.
I'll check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of moving around, the kobolds kind of look to you, and they are confused. You look around, and it doesn't seem like there's anything, and you're kind of listening too. And it sounds like there's rats scurrying in the walls, but it doesn't sound like they're moving with the same kind of agency that they had before.
Hmm. Heard you guys.
Seeing fire, lightning, fire, and all of this nonsense, all of the rats move into barrel holes, just booking it out of there. No thanks. Nope. We will desert our own home because forget that. That's
We funnel the
nope.
poison into these holes.
Start wafting it in. See what else we can throw at you. One of them jumps over the crenellations to, from what you can see now, Aveline, as you're kind of seeing a bit more light, it appears that this is a balcony, and to the north there are some crenellation walls, battlements. You know what a crenellation is, right? Or no? It's
No.
like the teeth-looking stuff at the top of a castle that allow people to shoot over them.
Yeah.
It's those, and it looks like to the north of you there is more cavern, like it's just open ravine or crevasse. You coming over here again? What?
And try and get like a, I don't know, like a better look and.
Okay. Yeah, you can move in and check it out since you're first one on the scene to do it. Do you want to check out the body, or you want to check out the northern side?
I'll go to the body first, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Caracas is slightly deceased. Looks like he's been chewed quite a bit. Definitely beyond repair. The body looks like he still has a bit of his gear, and some of it's kind of strewn about him. The others are kind of dealing with their poison in the background as you kind of quickly look over it. He has, strangely, the studded leather armor he was wearing doesn't look like it's been ravaged too heavily. And it looks like it could be pulled off of him and reconstituted, especially by you, pretty easily. He has 5 daggers on a belt. The belt has been chewed up a little bit, but it looks like it's still serviceable. Longbow, also still in pretty good working condition. A backpack, which has been torn open. It looks like it had a water skin that's been bitten open. It looks like it had a pack of just travel rations, which has been ripped apart. A bedroll, which has like half of it kind of chewed apart. A tinderbox, which is, besides a couple of teeth marks, is still in working order. And 3 torches, which haven't been touched. His quiver with 6 arrows hasn't been, 6 arrows remaining hasn't been, touched too much. And it looks like in his pocket he also has a potion of healing, which you can identify pretty quick, on his in his pouch, and in that pouch as well there's 17 gold pieces. On his ring finger he has a ring. Apologies. Somewhere in the room, the remnants of his ring finger have a ring on them. The ring is golden. It looks like it might be worth 10 gold pieces, and it has the name Caracas engraved upon it in common. Do you want to search the refuse besides, or do you want to just gather up Caracas things?
I'll just gather his things and kind of go bring them out to everyone else.
Okay. So for you all there's the list of stuff that was on Caracas.
Let them know that the rats back here have all ran away into the walls.
Cool.
They're all scared.
They just rats now.
The one in there dead.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they all ran away.
All right.
Do you want
Hero
to?
took care of that business.
That was a very clear kill quick. I mean, he said, "I don't like taking distractions and sidetracks. gotta handle this piece quick. We gotta get back to business."
I mean, we still got to kill the bloated one though. It's not over yet.
Well, no, they did. That's
Yeah. That was
Yeah, David. Sorry, that was like just too.
That was a little anticlimactic.
Just,
I was back here. I didn't see any.
Has to still kill it? Oh, we already did.
It's a solid shot. But yeah, do you want to spend time searching the refuge? If you want to, giving it a full sweep will take 10 minutes. If not, that's fine too. Just the gear on Caracas, whatever. But it's entirely up to you if you want to waste the time.
Did anyone else want to look through the items?
There's some daggers there. So.
I would like some daggers.
It's also got a dagger bandolier, so it's pretty cool too.
That's cool. I'll take that.
I want to get the armor, actually.
Okay. Studded leather?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're capable of, making it fit a little bit neatly. More neatly. The elf was also a pretty lithe individual, so not too far.
Who else has a bow or could use a bow?
I mean, I don't have one, but
I have a
Nah.
short bow.
I'm really good at using them.
How many arrows do you have?
It does not say.
So when you go to your character sheet, Stephanie, you will click on the I button above the chat log there at the top, and that should change it over to the compendium. Type in studded leather. Oh, you already have studded leather.
Oh.
Yeah, you're already wearing studded leather. It's already integrated.
Well, then, never mind.
Yeah. If you want to let somebody else have that if they want it.
You'd give it to Alania.
She's kind of shakes her head and shakes her chain shirt.
Just drape it on top of a kobold.
Yes.
They
Me-
like kind of like shuffle along like they're dressed in their mother's clothing.
Like,
Like a
gently.
toddler.
Real talk. Meepo looks at you and kind of goes, like he'll do it.
I could take that studded leather. It's a
Okay.
upgrade to my regular leather armor.
Yeah, it's better. Okay, so then studded leather. What you'll do is you just open your character sheet and then click on the eye at the top. Type in studded leather, the non-magical variant. Just drag and drop it into your character sheet, and then go to leather armor, and just delete it from your sheet. At the bottom there's like a little lock. Click that, open, and then go to leather and hit the delete option. And that should set your armor to rights.
So I never knew how to. I could never figure out how to delete stuff, so I just kept putting it to 0.
Yep.
There we go.
Cool deal. And that should automatically equate your armor to what it would be with studded. It should do the math already. Cool. Yeah, Alenia's wearing chain mail, actually. She's a heavy armor. I think she's the only person in this party who's in heavy armor.
No, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Anywho, if you don't take the 10 minutes searching the refuse and mess,
I'll go back in and look around.
y'all giving her the 10 minutes to do it?
Yeah, I think we should take the 10 minutes just because we need to
Okay.
rest a little bit as well.
Fair.
Compulsively cleaning again, so let me go back in.
And I need to not be poisoned.
If you take 10 minutes searching, every so often, Aveline will kind of, she pops up with something of worth. You manage to muster out 312 silver pieces, 68 gold pieces, and there are 3 gems in the mess. They are each garnets, and they are worth 25 gold pieces apiece.
Can I take the garnets?
Yeah, absolutely, if you want to, if the group's okay with that. But Alenia will kind of see them and kind of look to her holy symbol. And as you all look at her holy symbol, you'll note that the Holy Cross of Atavius is set with each of its points being a very similar styled garnet. And she kind of goes, interesting, and puts that back in her pocket. Perhaps I'm not the first person to try and bring the light to this place.
Well, Sen, would you want to take those 6 arrows from before?
Yeah.
Because I already have 6 arrows. And you're more in the ranged category than me.
Yeah, I'll take the arrows and I'll take the daggers.
Who has the +1 arrows, by the way?
That's me.
Okay.
Those are the ones I picked up early on.
Well, you should have a total of what? 8 now?
I've used arrows. So I'm down to 1 regular arrow and 5 +1 arrows.
Okay. You've used 3 +1 arrows already?
Wasn't it only 5 when we first got them?
You got 3 +1 arrows back in the tower room, and then you just got 5 +1 arrows from the ones that popped out of the coffin.
Oh, gotcha.
And I haven't seen you actually activate a +1 arrow on any of that. So
No, I started with regular arrows, and I used those, so that's what I was meaning.
Then you would have
I
had.
didn't know that there was 8.
You would have had the +1 arrow. I think that's we didn't discuss it at the end of last session because it was bedtime. So you would have the +1 arrows from the first combat, the 3 watchers in the first room. So there are now 5 +1 arrows in the group. Who would have those? Sen? Okay.
No, I think it would be Hero.
Didn't I do something to somebody's...
Yeah, the bow is magical, so it wouldn't gain the benefit of the +1 arrows. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It also has the, I think it was repeating was the quality that you gave it, so when she shoots an arrow, she doesn't waste ammunition. It makes an arrow for her before she fires.
So it might be smarter to give Hero
All the arrows.
Yeah.
Yep, I got them. So, and these are just 6 regular arrows, right?
6 regular arrows here on Caracas, yeah.
Okay.
Out of character, I don't know if this is the ring that you guys needed, but like...
So that's what I was gonna ask. It's like I'm pretty sure.
I think it is the ring that we needed.
Well, I think
It's not.
she only asked for
it's not.
the children's rings.
Hook
So
girl.
it's still gonna-
Oh, right. This isn't the children's.
I couldn't remember her children's names. Well, I don't even know
I mean,
them,
I could
technically.
I could use it. Melt the metal down at some point.
We also still have the
Jewelry.
3 torches and a tinderbox to distribute.
I just actually want to put the potion in my apron pocket.
I'll take a torch because I'm short one.
Okay.
I would like to take a torch because I gave mine to Aveline.
Yeah, and that torch will
The
actually,
like a candle.
taking the 10 minutes, that torch will actually expend. So if you want to light another one, Aveline, that's fine.
Okay. And that would be the one that I just have on my person.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 17 gold can go into the
Party
community
trigger.
pot. And yeah.
All right. Cool. The kobolds look like they're a little bit restless, and the Meepo, you can every so often hear Meepo say to the other two, "It is okay, the wise one. He is seeking more power to help defeat the one who rules the goblins. Oh, this is wise. We must save Calcrix. If he can have Calcrix join his side, the wise one would be most powerful. Imagine if he spit his fire and lightning, and then Calcrix spit his ice. Nothing could stand before their breaths. Oh!" Alenia seems to be kind of every so often. But yeah, she seems to understand them. But yeah, if that's that with the bloated one room. Just want to double check because we are rolling up on 9 o'clock. What's the stop time for the group tonight? Just so I have an idea how long we can continue. Because this isn't too bad a stopping point, but I mean I can definitely move you into more if you want.
I could go till 9:30 if other people want to.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. So I'm going to put you all into a nice little group
E.
and drag you back to. Hold on a second here. Drag you back to Goblin Town.
This is an aside, but everyone was making that rat sound a lot better, or a lot worse than it
I was expecting the
Right.
rat to be the size of a castle.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Guthash was about the size of a person, but yeah, the fight would have gone a lot differently if it wasn't blown up in 2 shots. Mostly just the fire breath shot was the one that did it, but yeah. Okay, so putting you back into the prison area and where the goblins were, there are 2 doors. There's one to the left and there's one to the north, or west and the north. Let's go with the same type of direction. There's option A and then option 2. So, do you want to go up or do you want to go left?
Because there's the one inside of the
Storage room. Yep. At the
main room.
at the end of the door there is one.
Oh, what's it?
Yeah. I'm gonna inspect the store.
For traps.
Yeah, traps.
Okay. Make an investigation check. All right. So you're pretty sure that if this door is opened suddenly or uncarefully, it will cause something to trigger on the other end. And as you're inspecting, your keen eyes are able to detect that there appears to be some sort of bell kind of attached to the top portion of the door, so that if the door opens, the bell will chime, alerting possible nearby creatures to the fact that the door has been opened.
Cool. And the bell is on the
Opposite side.
opposite side. Okay. Can I open it? I'm gonna open it super slowly.
So you have 2 options. You can either open it super slowly and make a stealth check in hopes to not trigger the chime, or you can try and disarm the chime portion by making a thieves' tools check. Entirely up to you if you want to do that, or which way you want to do that.
I'm gonna do a stealth.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth roll.
It's okay.
All right.
17.
So, as you're slowly trying to open it, you hear a couple of jangles, but nothing too loud or massive. But there's definitely a little bit of sound that comes from it.
Okay.
Not an absolute failure, but not exactly the greatest success. Okay, so the door opens. There's still kind of like the humming sound of the bell that kind of jangles, not a massively loud one. And the room before you seems to be filled with smoke or fog. You're not sure which. Possibly mist. And there are pillars throughout. It seems to have kind of its own kind of just ambiance to it, like a weird glow to it. But looking through the halls, it looks like there might be 3 or so doors on the northern side. And from the looks of it, there might be a door on the southern wall way over there, from what you can tell. But it looks like a long hall that leads to a door at the end.
Okay.
Like an approach or lead up to a really important room.
Right.
The door on this side here, to kind of give that a look, looks like it's barred and shut on your side. Like they're locking something in it.
Right. Okay. I'm going to keep the door open. That way we don't trigger that. And can I go ahead and try and disarm?
Yeah, it doesn't take too much effect or effort once you have the door opened. You're able to pull the bell off and quietly kind of take the bell and put it into your pocket. You have a bell?
Cool.
Rung the first bell.
I just wanted to say, good one, David. I got it.
I nodded my head. I was with him.
I
would
disapprovingly shook my
I would have gave him inspiration if he didn't already have it.
I already have it.
It's the only way you can get inspiration in a genre play game is by giving stupid and horrible dad puns. Perhaps.
Oh.
No, it's
I just start bringing mine.
I feel like
my
I
game
deserve
back.
one for my Inspector Gadget.
I don't remember it. Oh,
No.
it wasn't as punny. Anyways, I'll keep an eye out for hilarity. But that said, you relinquish the bell from its position and kind of keep an eye out for a couple of seconds there. It doesn't sound like anyone's rushing to investigate the bell chiming, the light bell chiming that you had.
I want to look at the door that I'm closest to.
Okay.
Shaking my head at the human Irishman.
Normal door. Doesn't look like it's got any locks or anything on it. Do you want to open it?
I'm just gonna kind of say out loud, should I open this door?
Mm.
I guess I can't hear you. I'm
This room's
in a different
gross.
room.
Like out.
Yeah. You pull up the one with a dead farmer in it.
I am so done with this room.
Oh, did you learn how to turn your token on its side?
Huh? Yeah, I was looking at the door.
Token turning. But do you open the door?
Sure.
Okay. Hallway. Looks like it opens and there's a door across from you, which isn't showing as well as I'd like. So I will try and make it more presentable. There you go. And there does appear to be a door at the left side long hall over there. And it kind of comes to a cul-de-sac on the right side. There are a couple of holes in the wall here on the lower portion, rat-sized holes. And if you kind of peek through, you can kind of see that they might connect to Gulthias' chamber.
Already.
Yeah.
They might connect to what chamber?
The big rat's chamber.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
I'm just gonna wait by the door I opened, so.
Okay. Hero, it looks like your group's splitting. Alenia seems to be taking the action as lieutenant to Captain Hero and keeping the troops nice in formation. Which pathway would you like to go?
I'm gonna follow the north
Okay.
pathway.
As shall the lieutenant and your army. There are two doors, one to the north and one to the west. Based on probable reports from Sen regarding what's in the room beyond them, this door might connect to the door that has the locking on it that they saw. This door also has similar barring on your side, seeming to shut something inside of this room from getting out.
And can I go in there?
Yeah.
I want to go in there.
Do you want to enter from the
And-
south side or from the north side?
Safe.
It seems like more noise in the south side chamber might provoke attention, based on the fact that they were using a bell, and it looks like these boards need to be pulled off with some force.
Oh.
So,
What do I know about this door?
well, you could probably open it with a bit of force and sound, but like I was saying, Sen would probably be aware that if you were to make sound in this hallway, it would have the same similar effects to bell ringing.
Probably need to chill.
Yeah, let's not make any noises.
I mean, I guess we could open the not jingly door, and then if there's something in there that we don't like, then you guys can bust through the other door.
Sure.
I'll also let Sen know if they're checking out the other door.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, Hero, do you want to move to this door, peel off some of these boards, and check what's on the other side?
Yeah, let's do that.
Doesn't take too much effort. Upon opening the door, you see... Let me read the following. The room is cold. There's definitely a chill that kind of comes out upon opening it. You see that on the walls there are mounted and stuffed animal heads that adorn the walls. The mounting job is sloppy, and the assortment of heads includes cattle, rats, a human. There is a kobold head also on the wall. Another farmer looks very similar to the guy in the box. Just grisly trophies that look like they've been kind of made by someone not very skilled at the craft. There are smashed and broken cabinets and small tables that kind of litter the periphery of the room. Mute victims of some sort of past rampage. There's a rusted iron spike that stands in the center of the room, trailing a broken chain, which is that spiral shape in the center there. There's thin patches of frost that coat sections of the walls, the floor, and debris. There's one upturned table on the far side of the room, and as you look to it, it looks like something is kind of shuffling behind it, and this serpentine kind of white head kind of comes out from behind the table, looking like this.
Ooh.
Ooh, a dragon.
A baby.
Oh, maybe it's the one that they were. Never mind.
Do you say do you say anything about it, Hero, since you're the one who currently sees it?
Yes, since I am the one who currently sees it, I would.
I'm aware.
Everyone else is like, ooh.
I
IRL.
I would relay what I'm seeing basically back to the group.
You hear a ah from three voices of kobolds, and they rush in, and then you see a look on the white dragon, kind of confused. It definitely looks like it keeps on looking to you with some confusion, and Meepo kind of looks to you as well, and then looks to the dragon, and then in Draconic says, "It is Calcrix! We have found you! We are going to save you!" And the dragon kind of confused, kind of looking at everyone. Just, it doesn't seem like it's afraid, it's just confused. What would you like to do?
I really want to pet that dragon.
In Draconic, I would say we've met up with your group here in our own quest and decided to come try to help. And that's what we're doing with Meepo and them.
Meepo, it says. Go ahead and make me a persuasion roll. You have advantage for this roll, and you also have a +3 bonus because of the number of kobolds that are with you.
I got a 4.
5 because you have advantage.
Oh yeah, 5.
Alright. It kind of starts banging against the wall and hides behind the table. You hear a loud whoosh sound, and you see eyes kind of form up around the side of it, and it kind of is hiding. And Meepo goes, it doesn't seem to like you. And the kobolds kind of back away towards the wall behind Meepo. Meepo kind of looks to you and says, "Let me try." And Meepo walks behind the table and kind of disappears from sight. And you hear barking, the two of you out in the hallway, Alenia and Aveline. And then eventually Meepo comes back out and says, Calcrix has agreed to join us! And it jumps up onto the table. We should probably try and take it back to Eustrail. We wish to kill the goblins, but our main goal was to rescue the dragon. Does anybody want to try and convince the dragon to stay and fight, or do you wish to go with Michael's attempt at trying to coax the dragon out from behind the table and leave it at that?
Can I try and persuade it, or?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Hold on.
It doesn't seem hostile. It just seems kind of wary of Hero, kind of.
I really want to pet that dragon. 15.
Alright. You kind of walk in and like something kind of snaps in you for a second, and you remember like specific honorage and like, you know, how to specifically bow to a dragon and how to approach a dragon. And Hero kind of seeing Aveline doing this, like these are diplomatic measures that are performed by like, you know, the nobility of Dragonborn and Dragonkind, and she's performing them very graciously and great, like, you know, exactingly, although she was just born today or whatever. And the dragon kind of moves in towards her, kind of starts smelling at her, and then says, "Name!" in Draconic. Do you speak Draconic, Aveline?
No, I speak Celestial.
Doesn't understand. But it barks at you, "Name!"
Oh, in Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear this, I'm assuming, since I'm in the room here.
Yeah, you were
And
there.
I relay it to Aveline. You're asking for your name.
Oh. Aveline Dallardus Camila.
Meepo. You have, please, Calcrix. What do you wish of the dragon? It seems to wish to offer you a favor for rescuing him. Calcrix is a guy.
So, aside, did you say that we were kind of like our options were to take him back or to bring him with us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did you guys want? Like, what would you guys prefer to do?
Yeah, if you don't plan on taking the dragon with you, the dragon is going to be escorted by Meepo and the kobolds back to Kobold Town. If you persuade the dragon to going with you and fighting goblins, it will go with you and fight goblins. And you've persuaded it with that role it will do a favor for you since you rescued it. It thinks you're the one who led this event.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna turn around and tell Hero. Well, he already knows that. Hero, you already know that he's saying. Well,
Yeah, he's the one telling you. He's the one translating.
that's right.
Oh my god, this cat is adorable.
Oh.
Hold on, let's see if I can get...
Baby.
Belly.
Guys, real quick, while we're
Go
doing
use
this,
the boy.
while we're doing this whole exchange, I gotta grab my work laptop and do a thing real fast. But
Okay.
I can still be on here while I do that.
No problem.
Okay.
So, just assume he's translating then.
They better be paying you.
Then I'll go ahead and ask him if he would like
no way.
to accommodate,
What company?
accompany us for to go kill some goblins.
It kind of barks at you for a second, and Hero kind of states, "It seems Calcrix wishes to eat goblins." You translated, Calcrix was asked by Aveline if Calcrix would accompany them to fight goblins, and Calcrix replied, "I want to eat goblins." And Yeah. Okay. That being the case, if you circle back around to the room with dragon, kobolds in tow, and head towards the main hall, based on what you're able to discern, the door to the north, by the way, if you quickly pop into that, you'll realize that it's a small little sleeping area, and your presumption is that the guards that were on the walls did their sleeping cycles in that room. There's nothing of note in there. But if you snap back around to the Misty Chamber, your assumption is that the center of Goblin Town, their main source of where they'll be and where their chieftain will be, is right on the opposite side of that door.
Whoa!
And since I think that fight will probably take the better part of an hour or two, depending on how crazy combos go, I'm going to assume that during the next few minutes you're going to prepare to head into the fight, and we'll pick up with the raiding of Goblin Town next session. Sound good?
Yeah.
Alright.
All right. I'll go ahead and kill the stream. Thanks for watching, and we'll pick up next week on Wednesday.